To Math Course 1, Middle School Math, Unit 3, Decimals, Topic 2, Comparing Decimals and Rounding Decimals. Let's go. Comparing decimals. To compare decimals, line up the decimal points and compare each place value from left to right. 3.45 is greater than 3.4 because we assume that 3.4 has a 0 after it. So 3.40 is less than 3.45. So 3.45 is greater. The shark is going to eat 3.45. He has his mouth wide open, ready to eat the big number, the greatest number, the greater number. Same thing with the next one. 0.78 is less than 0.81. Why? Because 0.7 and 0.8 clearly shows that 0.7 is less than 0.8. So we didn't even have to go to the second number. We didn't even have to go to the hundredths place. We could have just stopped at the tenths place and saw that 0.8 is going to be bigger than 0.7. So now let's go to the next one. 2.50 equals 2.500. Which one is greater? Ah, this one's a bit tricky, isn't it? Hmm? Well, everything in the first one, 2.5, 2.50, everything at the end of that is a 0. So it's the same thing. 2.50 is the same as 2.500. Excellent job. Let's keep moving. Now, let's look at some helpful tips for comparing decimals. These tips will help you compare decimals correctly every single time. Tip 1, line up the decimal points. Always make sure the decimal points are directly under each other. This helps you compare the correct place values, except for in multiplication. Don't forget, we're not lining up decimal points when it comes to multiplication until we're done with the multiplication, okay? So this is just, we're speaking on everything else except for multiplication. So tip 2, add zeros if needed. You can add zeros to the end of a decimal without changing its value. For example, 3.4 still equals 3.40. So that also means 7.78 still equals 0.780, right? Good. So adding zeros makes the decimals easier to compare. Tip 3, compare from left to right. Start with the ones place. If the ones are the same, compare the tenths. If those are the same, compare the hundredths. Keep going until you find a place where the digits are different. Tip 4, the first different digit decides, right? So the first different digit that you come across will decide. So the first place where the digits are different tells you which decimal is greater. For example, 3.45 is greater than 3.40 because the 5 is bigger than the 0, while the 3.4 stayed the same in each one. The 5 and the 0 were the ones that decided. Okay, so the ones are the same, the tenths are the same, the hundreds are different. So since 5 is greater than 0, 3.45 is greater than 3.40. Tip 5, if every digit is the same, the decimals are equal. For example, 2.50 still equals 2.500. So adding zeros to the end does not change the value. Remember, Line up the decimal points. Add zeros if needed. Compare from left to right. The first different digit tells you which decimal is greater or less. Zeros at the end do not change the value. Excellent job, creative learning adventurers. Now let's learn how to round decimals. Rounding helps us find the closest number. Step 1. Find the place you are rounding to. Decide if you are rounding to the nearest whole number, tenth, or hundredth. Step 2. Look at the digit to the right. This digit tells you what to do. If it is 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, keep the rounding digit the same. If it is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, increase the rounding digit by 1. For example, example 1, 4.36. Rounded to the nearest tenth. Round to the tenths place. Look at the hundredths digit, which is 6. Since 6 is 5 or more, round the tenth up. The answer would now become 4.4. Example 2, 7.82 rounded to the nearest tenth. Round the tenths place. Look at the hundredths digit, which is 2. Since 2 is less than 5, we're going to keep the tenths place the same. So, therefore, we get 7.8. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, example 3, 12.67, rounded to the nearest whole number. That means in front of the decimal. So round to the ones place. Look at the tenths digit, which is 6. Since 6 is 5 or more, round the ones place up. So now your new number becomes 13 because we're rounding to the nearest whole number. So look, remember, look one place to the right. 0 to 4 means keep it the same. 5 to 9 means round up. Everything after the rounding place is dropped after that. All right, so now let's look at some tips for rounding decimals. We're going to go through these tips one by one. Tip 1, find the place you are rounding to. First, find the place you are rounding. For 7.82, round it to the nearest tenth. The 8 is in the tenths place. Tip 2, look at the digit to the right. The digit to the right tells you what to do next. So for 7.82, the digit to the right is 2. Tip 3, if it is 5 or more, we're going to round up. If the digit is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, we're rounding up. So it's going to increase the rounding digit by 1, okay? For example, if we have the number 4.36, that 6 is 5 or more, so then we would round the 3 up. So instead of 4.36, it would be 4.4. So the hundredths digit is 6. So the tenths digit goes from 3 to 4. Tip 4, if it is less than 5, keep it the same. If the digit is 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, leave the rounding digit alone. For example, 7.82. Since the 2 is less than 5, we're going to leave it as 7.8. So that 8 will not go up. So the hundredths digit is 2. So the tenths digit stays 8. In other words, tip 5, remove the digits to the right. So that same digit, in other words, that same digit that you decided was going to, that you looked at, that is going to determine whether or not you round up, plus you're going to admit it. You're going to omit it. So remove the digits to the right. After rounding, remove all the digits to the right of the place you rounded to. All right? Let's do this example. 12.67 will go up to 13 because we round to the nearest whole number with this number. All right, so the 10th digit is 6. So 12 rounds up to 13. Because the 2 changed to a 3. So the number became 13. And everything else we omitted, we took off. So it just ended up being 13. So let's remember, find the place we're rounding with. Look one digit to the right. 5 or more means round up. Less than 5 means keep it the same. And remove the extra digits. So this was a pretty meaty slide, meaning it had a lot to give. Hopefully you understood what we just learned. And if you need more help, always remember, drop it down in the comments. Great job, creative learning adventurers. We appreciate you. We will see you next time. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and click one of these images of what's next to come or something you may be interested in. We have more than one course on this YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.